Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the channel. Welcome to this week's Gran Turismo 7 Daily Race and Strategy Guide. We're off to the brand new track in the game, which is of course Grand Valley Highway, and we're in the Group 3 machinery. Now, 10 laps to get around in this one, tyre wear at ×1, fuel just at ×1, racing hard tyres only available, no mandatory rules in terms of pit stops or tyre rules. BOP is on, damage is light, it's a rolling start, and slipstream is real. Now, the settings for this one were changed at the 11th hour. I actually put a video together based on the old settings, which was going to be tyre wear at ×5 and fuel at ×1. But Nenkai, who gives us the information on these races, has put an update out on Twitter. It says the pit stops are now going to be disabled and tyre wear has been changed to ×1. So basically, nothing to really report on this one. It's as much of a sprint race as you can possibly get. Nothing to worry about in the tyres, nothing to worry about on the fuel. I did actually do the testing for the old settings. ×5 tyre wear would have been much better. Tyre wear would have been a factor towards the end of the race, but they're giving the race a little bit more character. But of course, if you are up to speed with what's been happening in Gran Turismo Sport mode just recently, they tried to run the GTWS event for the manufacturers at this track, and a pit bug has been discovered, which basically means that sometimes you make a pit stop and other cars that make pit stops they kind of disappear, they become invisible to you. They're still on the track racing, but you can't actually see them, so it all became a little bit of a mess. They had to end up pulling the event from the GTWS and change it to the Nürburgring. I suspect this was probably the plan to have this race here anyway with the ×5 tyre wear, but they maybe are worrying because the tyre wear was actually quite severe when I tested it on ×5. They were maybe worrying that some people might actually have had to pit, so they've then updated it and changed it to ×1. Pretty much means that there's nothing for me to report to you on this one in terms of strategy. It's going to be a sprint race. One thing I will point out to you though is that the track limit penalties can be quite severe around here. We're going to take a look at a lap guide in a second. I'll point out to you the corners where they are most strict and where they really need to be aware of them. But let's get into that lap guide. Coming down towards turn 1, we're coming over the start finish line, coming across to turn 1. Now we are in America, so the marker boards are in feet, so you're looking for the 300 feet board for turn number 1, maybe braking just before it. Make sure you get yourself into the apex of turn 1. Nice wide exit, corner opens up, we come into a very fast sector, full throttle down through here, slight lift through the right hander. If you cross the curb here on this left hander, even just a fraction, you will pick up a half-second penalty. Downhill braking zone here, 400 feet board is your friend. Just after that you can actually brake. Make sure you get the car down into the camber of this very tight hairpin first gear, then a quick upshift into second gear in the Jaguar, which is the car that we are doing this lap in. Very, very tricky middle sector here, very technical, kind of hard to kind of talk you through it in terms of brake markers and turning points. It's just one of these sections of track where you really need to just get a feel for it. You don't really have any real braking markers, you're kind of just relying on the position of the car and the note of the engine and making sure you're in the right gear. This corner here though, you're looking for just before the 100 metre board. It's a sort of 180 degree left hander. Get it in nice and tight. There's no curves here though to kind of keep you right. Kind of hard to pick out the racing line, to be perfectly honest with you. This corner takes us out onto the bridge, opens up, you can get on the throttle a little bit earlier than you might expect. Quite important to do so as you come onto a a little bit of a straight. Coming up towards this tunnel here, you want to be braking just maybe 10 metres before the 100 metre board. Quite a tight corner as we go into the tunnel. Try and keep it as close into that curb as you possibly can. If you sort of miss the apex like I have there, make sure you get the car back over to the right hand side to give you the best line through this kind of blind, tricky chicane. Very easy to catch the curb in the wrong way. If you hit the bollards, you probably pick up a half-second penalty like I just have there. But that's pretty much it. Full throttle this sector here. You can get the line right though, or you could maybe understeer into the left hand part of the tunnel. But yeah, that's this race in a nutshell. No strategy whatsoever. It's a sprint race. Watch out for those penalties, and let's see what cars become competitive. I think it will very much become more like just a test session to test the new Group 3 BOP, which is not that new because I don't think they changed that many cars. But yeah, it's looking like the Porsche is going to be strong. It looks like the Ford GT, the more modern one, is going to be pretty strong. I wouldn't imagine that the Nissan GT13 will be too bad either. I have to say, with the settings, this race does not infuse me that much, but we'll certainly live stream it at least a couple of times over the course of the week. And hopefully GTWS can provide something a little bit better. But thank you very much for watching, and I shall catch you on the next one. Goodbye now.